My little brother wouldn't take the dark goggles off when he was riding his bike. He crashed because he couldn't see.
And living in a broken world is kind of like that. We can't see everything either. My name is Zach, and you're tuned in to listener-supported Keys for Kids, a great way to grow your faith in God. If you were swimming in a muddy lake and opened your eyes underwater, you wouldn't be able to see very far or know what's going on far away. We live in a world filled with the mud of sin and brokenness, and we can't always see how God is working out His plan, kind of like swimming in a muddy lake. It's similar to what the Apostle Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 12. Now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now let's listen to our story. It's entitled Dark Glasses. Seth and his parents laughed as they watched Seth's 5-year-old brother ride his new bicycle full speed up and down the driveway. The training wheels rattled as Camden tried to imitate a motorcycle rider. He wore his helmet and a pair of ski goggles. "Camden, it's getting dark," said Dad. "Why don't you take off those goggles?" "No," Camden protested. "Motorcycle riders always wear them. I'm a motorcross racer." "But it's getting dark," Mom said. "The tinted glass on the goggles keeps you from seeing clearly." "I can see," Camden insisted. "Watch this." He turned and raced to the end of the driveway where he made a sharp U-turn. He didn't notice the loose gravel on the cement. The bike tipped and skidded in the gravel, and Camden spilled onto the concrete, scraping his hands and knees. Seth ran to help his brother untangle himself from his bike. When Mom removed the goggles, Camden saw blood trickling down his leg, and he began to cry. "Come on in with me," said Mom. "Let's get that bandaged up." After Mom cleaned and bandaged the cut on Camden's leg, they all sat down in the family room. "You know what Camden's accident reminds me of?" asked Seth. "What?" asked Mom. "My Sunday school lesson last week," Seth replied. "Camden didn't see the gravel because he was wearing those dark goggles, and Mr. Paul said we don't understand everything about God and what He's doing because we live in a broken world. Mr. Paul said it's like we're looking at life through dark-colored glasses. We don't see all that God has planned, and sometimes we mess up and fall along the way because we try to take matters into our own hands instead of trusting Him." "Good point," said Dad. "We don't realize the greatness of God's love and plan for us." "Does God love us and fix our hurts like Mommy does?" Camden asked. Seth and his parents chuckled. "God loves us more than anything," Dad assured him. "Jesus died to save us, and He's always with us and comforts us when we're hurting. And someday He'll wipe away all our tears." Mom nodded. "Someday we'll see more clearly and understand so much more." Well, how about you? Do you feel like you don't understand much about life and eternity? That's because you can't see clearly and understand all there is to know about God and what He has planned for His children. Trust His promise that those who know Jesus will someday understand more fully when we see Him face to face. And until then, remember that He loves you and is always with you as He works out His perfect plan. Our key verse is 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 12.
Now we see in the mirror, but then face to face.
And our key thought for today, trust God when you don't understand. I want to encourage you to spend time with God every day. When you grow up to be a teenager, you can keep it up with the Unlocked Teen Devotional. It's like Keys for Kids with something to read every day, but it might be a story, a poem, or maybe even a journal entry made by a teen just like you. Get a free printed copy of Unlocked at unlocked.org. I'm Zach. This is Keys for Kids.